What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Glory Boys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darren.
And I'm Austin.
And we're super excited today. We're going to talk about how you got issues. But before we do, let's roll that intro.
So you got issues.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So here's the thing. I don't know how to say this, but I got issues, man.
Let's talk about them.
Yeah. So, this podcast is all about really just trying to help you grow your business, help you grow your life. And we want to add as much value to you as possible. That's why we do this. That's why we're passionate. We're passionate about people and helping them. And so here we are. Today, we're going to talk about how important it is to identify your issues and how important it is to have an issues list, and how do you tackle and kind of, make those issues no longer issues. That's the goal here, right?
Yep.
So I guess we're just going to dive right in. Austin, so we've come up against many issues in the last four and a half years, and we have lately made a massive list, like a big old list of them. And so I don't know what kind of people you are, if you like pen and paper and writing stuff down, or we have like a huge GV notes, like shared notes between Austin and I that has like issues. It has like all kinds of ideas. I mean, it's super, super long.
Like 3 years just compiled information in one note.
We should go through it sometime on a podcast because it would be funny. But that's not the most effective place. But something that we found out recently is we have used a lot of different project management softwares. We've kind of bounced around, found some that were like too robust. We found some that are like too simple. But we lately have jumped back on the train of Trello.
Yep. And
Trello, I don't know if you're familiar, but Trello has a Kanban board type interface. It's very simple of like you create some lists, you scooch over like different things to done, review, and completed, or however you want to do it. You can name them however you want. But for me, as a creative and a visual person and a visual learner, I like it because you see the list. I'm dedicated to some of the things on the list, and then I know my responsibilities and I can cross them over the finish line. I like it because when you get to move things over yourself, like you feel accomplished, you can leave the day being like, hey, it's like checking the box on one of your things on your list, but it's not on pen and paper.
Yeah.
And so we've actually tried to print out and laminate lists. We've tried just about everything.
We've tried keeping track of projects on a whiteboard, which is great, but it's not something I can pull up when I'm at home and want to check on how things are going.
Yeah. So, we jumped on Trello, and I would love, Austin, for you to dive in a little bit, since you've been kind of spearheading this, is the issues list that we all created. We've all compiled all the issues that we all see, because we are a team of 5 people now. And so how have we done that, and what are you doing about helping get these issues kind of ironed out?
Yeah. So as what I would consider the integrator of the team, myself, I'm typically the one that's going to be building out systems, email workflows, all of our workflows and packages, and really a lot of the admin stuff, along with Carrie's help.
Yep.
And in the last episode, which if you didn't check it out, we talked about the challenges of growing a team. Definitely go check that out. But we talked about doing one-on-ones with our team. And one thing I think has been a huge win from that is we're able to identify each team member's frustrations. So an issues list, which is something that is from the book Traction that we reference pretty often, it seems, these days.
Yeah.
An issues list is a component of your VTO, or something that you can just keep going at all times. But it's really, it's a list of the things that are issues. They're causing
roadblocks.
They're roadblocks. They're things that are inefficiencies in your process. And ultimately, they're usually the things that you don't have time to do right now. You don't want to do right now. You don't want to schedule time to do, because they're not money generating projects. But they're just as essential, and you can't let that list grow for too long.
Yeah.
So I've been even to the point of, I literally sold my computer recently, because I figured we have 2 editors in house, and Darren edits a lot, and is our strongest editor, I think. And I really don't do as much editing. I do a lot more of this type of thing on a daily basis. And so I'm like, we're looking at moving into Mac Studios, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Quick plug for the M1 iMac.
Sick.
The 24-inch iMac has been crushing for video. It's like
crazy.
It is faster than our $3,000 iMacs that we've been working on. And they're like, they start at like $1,299. So quick plug, but we're like working through that whole conversion over to Apple Silicon Macs and the new M1s and the studios and all that stuff. But I've been focusing a lot of my time on this issues list, so I don't really need an editing computer right now. So Ray's, pretty much inherited my desk for now. I'm, holding myself away with the iPad, working on stuff. But Trello has been really great because you can build out different boards. So we have one board that's just a GV projects board, and it has different statuses. So all of the different statuses that we have right now are to do. So things that haven't been started yet, doing things that editors are currently working on. Interview, that's things that editors are done with, like a rough cut for that we need to sit down with them and help get across the finish line for a V1. And all of that's part of this process that we've kind of built out for just how we want to do things, how we want to review with our team, how we want to continue to develop editors and things like that. Awaiting feedback. So those are for videos that we've sent. We're waiting for feedback from the client to do revisions. And finally completed, which are obviously projects that are done,
which before
you
signed
off on.
Yeah. Before you move any further, just quickly, the waiting feedback feature, I think, is one of my favorites, because what we have done in the past is we've uploaded everything to Vimeo, and we would send a review link or a link to the client, and then they would email us back just what that person that had watched it in that moment, the feedback. We would do that feedback, then we would send the new version, the V2, to the client. Well, then somebody else in the client or down the pipeline would watch it, have more feedback. It seemed like we were doing this back and forth thing, and we could write in our contract, or I think we have in our contract, you get up to 2 revisions or for most projects. And so it just seemed like, obviously we're not going to screw our clients out and not do the revisions, but it also protects our time if we have this new feature in place. And so what we do now is we actually started using frame.io. It's a really great new platform. Not new. Is it new?
I think it's newish. It's newer than Vimeo.
It's new to me. So we've used it for the last few months, and it's been amazing because now we upload the V1 and the client actually gets a review link, and they can type back the feedback and timestamps and write down all of the issues that they see or things that they want to change, and the whole team can review it. And it's really, really helpful because now we go back, look at the review, all the comments, we make all the changes in one sitting and send it back, and it's good to go. And so that's been one of my favorite things that we've done in fixing these issues.
Yeah. I'll just go through. So we have a GV projects board. Then we just made like a GV internal board. So that's really where we keep a lot of like ideas that we have for things coming up in the future, personal projects, ideas, podcast topics. We keep those in there. So, I mean, you can use this as just a list of things to sit there, or you can use it as a to-do list. You could have your to-do list and your list of ideas and all of that in one board. It's super customizable. It's beautiful in terms of the interface. You can do custom background. I have our team photo as our background of our page. So it looks really nice. Previously, we'd been using Rike, which is a very, very advanced tool, but it's very just outdated in terms of UI, and it's not that easy to use. Trello is extremely easy to use. And so we just go through. Carrie knows that when a project gets created, we have a contract and we have a deposit and we're moving forward. She needs to go ahead and create that task. As soon as we shoot it, we're assigning it to an editor. That person knows that when they're working on it, they need to move it into doing. And it just really helps us track progress on everything. That way, when we meet in the morning, we can take 10 minutes, look at the Trello board. All right, everybody know what they're working on. What do you guys need from us today? Okay, let's get after it. So I'll just go through some of these issues lists. But again, these are things that you have to dedicate time for. And sometimes that can be difficult to do. I'm fortunate to be in a position where we have great editors holding down the fort, and I'm able to dedicate some time now to doing some of these things that I wish I would have done a long time ago. But some of these issues will arise just as you need them. There were issues that arose when we hired employees that we didn't have before. Like, oh, we need to go buy an iMac for them. That's an issue. Our storage solution is completely full and we have to completely reconfigure and go with a RAID system. That's an issue. that took me, probably a whole day to figure out, but they're super important and crucial to knock out. So I'll just go through a few of these that are sitting in my issues list currently. Discovery process and inquiry form. So when people reach out, how are they getting communicated with? Is that a fully robust workflow? Right now I have, I think, an automated email that goes out that says we're reviewing your project and we'll get back to you in 48 hours, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I would love for that to be more built out. I would love for them to get, a link to an FAQ, a link to our proven process, so they can go through and see, without me having to spend the time to explain it to them over the phone, they can get a feel for how working with us is going to be.
Yeah.
And just things like that, it's really an investment of time because it's more inconvenient in the moment, but it will save you time and pay exponential dividends in the future.
Yep.
Another one, VTO, rework and presentation. So that's an issue that's on Darren and I's issues list together. We talked about having vision, being able to hold people accountable to things in our previous episode about the challenges of building a team.
Yep.
That's something that we're way behind on. We should have had a VTO already locked in.
Yeah.
We built one out. We reviewed it with the team. That was probably 2-3 months ago at that point.
Yeah.
Gino Wickman, who wrote Traction, Gino Wickman, who wrote the book Traction, recommends that you give it 30 days to sit, let everyone kind of stew on it, and then come back and revise what needs to be revised and really land on a solid VTO. So that's an issue that we need to figure out as soon as possible.
Yep.
Review process, that one I can probably check off for the most part. I just went through because there was a lot of confusion. Our editors would have a project done and ready to send, but we need to review it. We need to go through, make any changes that we see necessary before actually sending it to the client. Well, a lot of times there was no set process for that. So we would get to it when we got to it, and it would I think it would actually frustrate our editors a lot of the time because they'd be waiting and sitting on this project and we're not getting to it to get it out to the client.
Yeah.
And so that was a major issue of like, what does this look like? So I sat down one day and I literally just typed out everything from the client reaching out to the client paying the final invoice and getting their deliverables in downloadable format.
Yeah.
And a big part of that was the post-production review process. And so that's one thing I had on my issues list.
Yeah. So now we sit down every Thursday. It's review day, and we have every project that is in review. Austin and I are going to sit down with the editor, watch through the whole project, make any changes that we would, any audio, color, any clips that needed changed, and we will go through it and get it to the point so that they can move on. So we're not being the roadblock to their workflow.
Another one here, commercial workflow revamp. That's another just email kind of campaign, just building that out. That there's a lot of ways you can set yourself apart just by communicating well with your clients.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of falls into that it's just the personal touch. And Dubsado is the best tool that I've found for that.
Yeah.
You can literally build out a whole workflow that will send them emails once certain actions are completed or once they sign a contract or pay an invoice.
Yeah, it's great.
You can have all these different actions that will then trigger a response. And you can build out entire email campaigns within that. You could have it email them every 3 months after they work with you, reminding them that you're there.
Yeah.
So that's another issue. It's not necessarily something that's broken that needs fixed immediately, but it is something that will help improve our processes and efficiency.
Love it.
Make a kit page. So our links on YouTube right now are super outdated. So all of our equipment that we're promoting to you guys probably isn't even the right stuff.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, why don't I just make a kit page that the link is the same and I can just update it on the back end. That way you go back to a YouTube video from 2018, you're still going to get the kit that we're using now, and it's not going to be outdated information. So just some examples. Most of it is like workflow related with new clients and making sure they get communication. An issues list can really consist of anything that is holding you back or slowing you down. And the sooner that you can start knocking those out, the better.
Yeah, it's really, really helpful to have a platform because you can go throughout your whole day or your weeks and things can pop up just randomly. Like I literally will think of something random and just shoot Austin a text. Like, dude, we got to do this for the podcast. Oh, we should do this shoot. Oh, we had an idea for a script or a storyboard for this company that we're working with. It's like super exciting and inspirational, but it can literally die in that text message. Yep. And so if you have nowhere where you're putting, or even coming up with like an idea to make our workflow better. Like I don't typically like dream about workflows. Like that's more Austin's lane of like, but I appreciate it and love it. And so if I knew that he's working on, like I see, like for connecting with our clients, like the discovery process, like I would love to help create some videos with him that are like, hey, what's up guys? Like, thank you so much for considering working with us, and running through a process with our potential clients through email, through video, just to make it more interactive. They get to know our personalities and be like, oh yeah, these guys seem great. And it's that personal touch that I care about so much that I would love to help get that across the finish line. But definitely having a place to put those ideas, put those thoughts, so that they don't just stay thoughts. You want them to actually implement and go into your business. And they will not if you do not write them down and put them in a flow or workflow that, you know, we can all see them and actively work on them. Here's the thing. When we find something that works really well for us, and if it's free or cheap and it just is killing it, like we're going to promote it and really share it with you guys, because you guys don't have to go spend. I mean, even for Reich, what was like $50 a seat a month
it was like per user per month. Craziness.
So like for us, like spending $250 a month for, I literally hate Reich. Like I wouldn't even open it, and we would just pay $50 a month for me to sit on it. Like we've done that. It didn't make sense. Doesn't matter how much money you're making. You don't want to just blow money. And so Trello is free, and it is so easy, and it's super easy to teach. And our whole team has jumped on board and really liked it. I think just keeping things simple is really important so that your team isn't overwhelmed. They already have so much going on. They're already thinking about their edits. They're already thinking about their deadlines. Like let's lift some of that off by using simple platforms like this. So definitely get yourself a Trello board.
Yeah. Another thing that I feel like it really helped us with was just even like the timing of communication. That's one issue that I felt like we had for a while, because we all work in the same, we have one office and a lobby. We're all kind of in the same room. It's really easy to get in the habit of leaning back, yelling across the room at somebody because you need something. But we realized exactly.
Austin,
what's up? I'm in my creative flow right now in an edit.
Austin,
what's up? Just
check your Trello board.
Nice. Now my creative process is interrupted. But I mean, yeah, it was, we were consistently seeing it happen where our creative flow, you get into a flow, you're editing a project. Yeah. You don't want to be distracted every 5 minutes. That takes so much efficiency out of things.
Yep.
And so this has helped us. We can leave each other comments. We can assign things to each other. And that allows me, if I'm editing a project for 4 hours, to put that full 4 hours of attention into that project and then check my Trello board. Oh, I have a tag from Carrie that I need to do this. Let me respond to that real quick.
Yeah.
Instead of it's more convenient to just ask you now.
Yeah.
We've really kind of forced that change, and I feel like that's helped just all of us be more efficient.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I think what this whole episode is really about is time is money. Like you hear that all the time. But I really do believe that we have wasted so much time in the last 4 years. I mean, we have wasted so much time. And because of that, we've lost so much money. Here's the thing. We know that we've wasted a lot of time. We can't get it back, and that's okay. But we can make a difference today and implement some of these systems in order to save time and money in the future. We have a big vision and a big goal. We're going after it. And so if we can clear some of this stuff up, start building culture healthily, start keeping people effective, we're going to get closer to the goals that we have set in the future. And so I would just strongly encourage you guys, get a management platform like this, get some kind of, there's so many things out there. There's, Monday.com, and there's the Reich, and there's, what are some other ones?
Basecamp,
Asana,
Basecamp. The options are endless.
It doesn't matter. All of them are either free or somewhat cheap. Find one that works for you. Trello works for us. And it's free, so download it, test it out. If you've used it in the past, it's way different than it used to be. It's way more clean and less clunky. I worked for a startup like 5.5 years ago, and we used it. It was great, but it was like still in like beta, like it was just starting kind of to become a thing. But it's way better. So definitely encourage you, figure out what that platform is, start writing your issues down, get them tackled one by one. It's going to feel really overwhelming at first. You're going to have so many. We had tons. We still have a lot. And he read some of them off to you, but they're going to keep coming up. Just keep writing them down and knock them out one at a time. Austin's really taken ownership over these. And so sometimes he'll just disappear for 4 hours. He'll sit in this podcast studio. He'll just sit on the iPad and knock out something. He'll leave and be like, hey, I figured out a whole proven process of how we, from start to finish, on how we work with clients. And I'm like, whoa. And we read through it all. I was like, this is sick. This is like what we do. But it's so great because we have something to look to, something that like, hey, someone's struggling with the workflow. Here you go. Here's a sheet of paper. Read it. Now you know exactly what to do. Where are you stuck? Oh, you're stuck on line 26. Oh, just make sure you email that person. It's like, it just makes everything smooth and great and very nice.
Very nice. Yeah, guys, an issues list can be a scary thing. I can attest to that. I think the first time that I sat down with it in front of me, it's super overwhelming. But like Darren said, one at a time is the approach to take, and you can fit the time in around your other projects. I would say just try to do it consistently. You don't have to take a whole day, but if you can take a couple hours once a week to knock out those issues, you will find yourself, even in a matter of a few weeks, feeling better about your business. Things will be running smoother. You won't have as much anxiety because it's like when you don't want to check your bank account because you're afraid of what it will look like. That's what staring at an issues list and not doing anything about it is. Whereas, and that's never the best option. If you don't have enough money in your bank account, you need to actually face it, come face to face with it and say, okay, what can I do to fix it? It's no different with your issues list. Don't be scared of it. You'll be super glad that you put in the time. I promise you. So let that encourage you to start tackling your issues list. And I just know that you'll be glad that you did.
Here's the thing. You got issues, so do something about them. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are on Apple Podcasts, we'd love to read the ratings. So go ahead and shoot a rating on there, or anywhere that you're listening to podcasts. Definitely give us a rating. We really, really appreciate all of them. We read them all the time and they're super encouraging. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. We're posting all kinds of different content all the time. We're trying to add value to you, and we have a lot of fun on there. So check it out. Check all the other videos out, and we have tons of episodes. I think we're on like episode 50 something now, which is super exciting. More content to come, but we love you guys. Have the best day ever and keep growing your businesses. You're amazing.
Peace. See you guys.